Since 1975, when the federal government established the Public Complaint Commission, the aim has been clear: to give citizens a voice and a channel to seek redress against administrative injustice and unfair practices in both public and private sectors. With offices spread across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, the Commission serves as Nigeria's ombudsman, ensuring accountability and fairness in governance. As one of Africa's fastest growing cities, Abuja faces its share of public concern arising from rapid development and daily interactions between citizens, businesses, and government agencies. On the spot today, we focus on how the Commission is addressing these issues in the nation's capital. I am Joseph Otan. Welcome to the program. Now, my guest is known to many as a grassroots mobilizer and administrator. He is the immediate past executive chairman of Buhari Area Council and a one-time special assistant on community relations to the Minister of FCT. On the spot is the Federal Commissioner, Public Complaint Commission, Federal Capital Territory FCT, Musa Dikko. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, just as we said, there are administrative injustice and issues raised from citizens concerning what affects them. But for the sake of our viewer, I want you to give us a broader understanding of the mandate of the Commission.
Thank you. It will look simple, but somehow difficult, particularly for Nigerians and even non-Nigerians that are not quite aware of the Public Complaint Commission. Yeah. But interestingly, this is a commission that was created way back in 1975, precisely on the 16th of October, by our elder statesman, the then head of state, General Yakubu Gowon. And of course, that was as a result of what happened to Nigeria and Nigerians. The oil boom that fell in Nigeria and on Nigerians, where we witnessed what we never expected. And of course, because we are dealing with human beings, managing that aspect of resources that we had was not easy. And unfortunately, there were certain issues that occurred that led to mismanagement of such resources, mishandling of the resources that was then available for us. And that led to maladministration. And the then federal government decided to set up a panel led by the late Udoji. Of course, it was commonly known as Udoji panel. And the aftermath of that exercise, of course, opened the eyes of Nigerians and the federal government as to what should have done or what should be done. Then it gave birth to this commission to inquire into the activities of that windfall, to inquire what led to the mishandling and mismanagement of our resources then.
Because when you talk about public complaint, there's a lot of complaints earlier,
yes,
especially concerning the FCT,
yes,
where we haven't so much, especially the issue of land compensations and so on.
Exactly. That is where I am coming from. And citing an example with the inhabitants of the federal capital.
How much of this has been a huge the demand issue for you?
The demands are so huge. In fact, that led me coming here lately.
It's good to know that you are also an indigenous person here.
The most affected.
FCT, so,
the most
so
affected.
you know exactly what
yes.
we're talking about.
So, you know, the concept of the Federal Capital Territory was that the inhabitants discovered to be here before the creation of the FCT will be evacuated to neighboring states, Kaduna, Lokoja, which is Kogi today, Niger, Nasarawa, of course. But unfortunately, let me say unfortunately, the same federal government decided to change the policy of allowing the inhabitants to remain in the Federal Capital Territory. At this point,
which is fair.
Which is fair. But then, without adequate arrangement for the people of the Federal Capital Territory, as per which government would they belong to? Is it at the state level? Is it at the federal level? Or at the local government level? They left the FCT inhabitants at just a level that they cannot describe. As you can see, it is continuing today. When elections are held in our various states of the Federation to elect state governors, state assemblies, the inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory and the residents today don't have that opportunity. We see that as not fair because we are all Nigerians. Our minister is appointed to oversee the affairs of the Federal Capital Territory. So today we see it as unfair. The people of Nigerians in the Federal Capital Territory see it as unfair. So we count it to be a form of maladministration.
But
we count it to be a form of injustice.
For whole other offices.
Yeah, there are elections into the area councils today in the Federal Capital Territory. There are elections into the National Assembly, which give the House of Assembly member and give also the Senate seats in the Federal Capital Territory, which is just one. And we are saying, as citizens of this country, we have equal rights. We should have equal rights. Let me say we should have equal rights, because in the case of FCT, the equal rights are absent.
Other people will argue that you're talking about equal rights. I think other people will argue that you are even having more than others, because being under the federal government, there's a huge budget for you. You can see what the FCT minister is doing. We're talking about huge constructions everywhere. That's an advantage for the indigenous.
Well, I want to believe that the present minister of the Federal Capital Territory is different. And that is why we're seeing the massive development in the Federal Capital Territory going on today. But I also want to say what is given to FCT is given to states. All the resources that are coming to the Federal Capital Territory are from the Federation account, which also goes to the states. So I don't see any advantage over the states. Instead, I even see disadvantage over the states. Because when these resources are distributed to states, the state governors apply them in their own state of manner, using the state assembly to discuss and see how they can be better applied. But in the Federal Capital Territory here, you could see that the FCT ministers sit with only his cabinet. There are no state assembly here. So it's disadvantage to the people of the Federal Capital Territory. We are administered, or our legislation comes from the National Assembly, where every Nigerian is represented. But in the case of at the FCT level, we are not represented in that direction, like the states. So let's not much maybe deviate a little from the public complaint activities entirely. I want to say the Public Complaint Commission has come to stay. It's still a complaint. Yes, okay. We're handling it in a different way. Yeah. So the Public Complaint Commission that we have today is a body saddled responsibility of listening to all Nigerians and non-Nigerians, particularly as it affects government activities. You could see today that in the Federal Capital Territory, the mass development that is going on, a lot of people are complaining. A lot of people are complaining. For instance, if I own a plot in Guzape and a development catches up with that area of my plot, how am I treated? I was allocated that plot. If I am going to be, if that plot is going to be taken away from me, I should be given an alternative. Fairly, where I think I'll be comfortable with.
There has been this back and forth.
There has been
minister will claim that we have compensated the community. The community members will be complaining, no, we have not been compensated. So where you are in the middle there.
Yeah, at
What's
this
the situation?
point, the Land Use Act is not properly or adequately applied in the Federal Capital Territory. If it is, we won't be having this back and front. Like I'm citing an example with the inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory. These are people that inherited this land. It's not by appointment. And the Land Use Act is clear as to who owns land. How can you own a land? How can it be taken away from you? It can only be taken away from you if you own it by inheritance, by the same issue of maybe overriding public interests. And in the case of the Federal Capital Territory indigenes or inhabitants, their lands are taken over today outside the overriding public interests. Let me give you an example with maybe Karsana, where a developer was allocated, and that land falls where the inhabitants are. That developer today has gone to take over that land, demolish their structures, without following the laid down principles or policies of the Federal Capital Territory. And nobody is talking. Nobody is talking. Two, in the same Federal Capital Territory where you have these inhabitants, they are not given adequate notice for a particular development that will take place within their area where they will be affected, either for overriding public interest or otherwise. Is there fairness?
How have you been dealing with these issues? How have you been dealing with this? Yeah. I understand you have not less than within 2004, of November 2004, you had up to 8,000 complaints.
Yes, we have up to 8,000 complaints, and we are dealing with them stage by stage. Very difficult task. You know, the Public Complaint Commission is not like the normal courts, where we could charge you, where we could fine you. Even the fine that is allowed by the Public Complaint Commission may not be much more than 500 naira. Of course, we're dealing with that at the National Assembly to see how that amendment can take place, to allow a better penalty to hopefully deter people that will continuously violate other people's rights. Today, as I'm talking to you, I had a case conference dealing with a developer and, should I say, a subscriber, a developer who had got massive land to develop his estate or whatever name it is called. Customers have come to subscribe from him. Develop and hand over these properties to the people that have subscribed becomes a case. So you see individuals coming to cry out. I have paid 17 million, I have paid 10 million, I have paid 5 million. The developer cannot give me my property. We're dealing with such issues as well to ensure that there is peace in the territory. And we're getting results.
Okay.
We're getting results.
Let me take you to this getting results. Yeah, a lot of people believe that it's quite challenging when you face, I'm sure, issues drag when huge agencies are involved. For instance, there's a case regarding the, I think, Cooperative Society of National Primary Health of Nigeria with the Nigerian Air Force, where the primary health care agency is arguing that despite their court injunction, the Air Force is encroaching into its society, into its land. How challenging is it for you to deal with situations like that? You are now talking about the military.
Yes, very challenging. You have just talked about the case of Air Force and the primary health care. That is just one leg. The communities that reside within the Abuja Municipal Area Council, particularly on the axis of the international airport, these communities are about 15 to 20. They are faced with this challenge of the military, where they have invaded their environment, they have invaded their communities, taking over all the lands that are there. In fact, sometimes, because the environment now has been fenced by the military, sometimes they put up a gate, lock the gate, and will not allow the inhabitants to go out. We're taking it in a way that there will be no fracas. Before now, you could see protests by indigenes against the military. We have gotten reply now from the Nigerian Air Force. We have gotten reply from the Nigerian Army. And of course, we have adequate evidence to show that this land were even never allocated to the military. We have gotten a document that shows that the FCT minister, the current FCT minister, has given his or her, his own note that this land in question was never allocated to the military. Okay. This land in question was allocated to aviation authority, but yet the military has taken over. And we are saying the inhabitants of these communities should be allowed to remain where they are, because the development that is going on is not on overriding public interest. The military are using it to build estate where they resell to others. So what happened to the inhabitants?
Okay, I think we'll pause for a break now. Yeah. When we'll come back, we'll now analyze this particular topic more. Let's pause for a break. Stay with us. The program is On the Spot, and we are here with the Federal Commissioner, Public Complaint Commission, Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Musa Dikko. We're talking about challenges facing powerful agencies of government. We're talking about the military there specifically. Now, when they are not complying, you talk about what the minister said, you talk about 5 court injunctions. When they are not complying, what options do you have?
They are not complying, and we have option of continuous dialogue. We need them to understand that these people are not squatters. We need them to understand that nobody in Nigeria is well above the law. The military are not above the law. The ordinary citizens, as we are called, are not above the law. And having gotten a court injunction against the military, they are expected to comply. They are expected to comply. The federal government haven't said, we have not allocated this plot of land to you. They are expected to comply.
Citizens need to understand the role of the Public Complaint Commission. You yourself need to educate the people a lot about what should be done. And how much of this campaign are you taking to both the citizens and some of these agencies and powerful persons in the society to understand, to give you, because they need to understand your role to mediate for them?
Yes, on assumption of duty at the commission, I embarked on courtesy calls, and I'm continuing. I've visited traditional chiefdoms. I've visited some certain government agencies, the police, the road safety, the civil defense, the immigration, and we're continuing. Just like I said, we have made letters to the military itself, and because of these changes, we're about writing them to visit them and sensitize them about the Public Complaints Commission. That look, you don't need to carry gun to these areas. You could bring your complaint to us.
Dialogue.
We will know how to dialogue with these community members on the need for them to understand if you are actually given this land, to understand that, look, there is room for dialogue to see how they can either be adequately resettled or integrated into the environment you are occupying or about occupying. So I can assure you that we're continuing in our sensitization. It is not easy because we need resources to carry out this sensitization. In the last 1 week, we have to stage a rally within the Federal Capital Territory to create awareness before our 50th anniversary. So we're continuing in that direction. I think my next visit, God willing, if we get the approval, is NOA. We want to see how we partner with National Orientation Agency, because Nigerians need to be quite aware of some certain things that are happening that are creating problems within our society, particularly in the Federal Capital Territory. So we're not sleeping over creating awareness. Nigerians need to understand. It is unfortunate that before now, the Public Complaint Commission was not sustained from the point of establishment. At a point, it was like abandoned, would I say, which gave rise to creation of the EFCC, the ICPC. If you check properly, you could see that they are doing the job that the Public Complaint Commission was created.
Yeah, I was about to ask you,
you
if you have
understand?
any kind of collaboration
Yes,
with this,
so,
even the Human Rights Commission.
Yes.
To have
Yes.
better collaboration, that may help us.
These are large bodies that we're going gradually. We need the approval to visit them and sensitize them about us. We need to have that proper synergy. Cases that are not for EFCC, push them to public complaint. Cases that are not for ICPC, push them to public complaint. Cases that are not ours, if they are criminal, if they have to do with offenses relating to finance, we push them to the ICPC, we push them to the EFCC, we put those criminal cases to police. And police, in the same vein, send back to us. I give you one example just in Gwagwa Police Division, where a woman went to relate a case, and the DPO said, please, take the address of Public Complaint Commission. So that is the stage we are now. That is the stage we are now. We have met with the police command, and we have an understanding. In fact, we were so elated that the then police commissioner, before the one we have now, said when he saw the data coming from the public complaint, he was overwhelmed. And he was wondering how he would have been handling these cases if the Public Complaint Commission was not playing a role. So we're actually synergizing. And I think, before I forget, I want to thank you for this program, because I know it will help Nigerians to understand there is Public Complaint Commission in Nigeria, and particularly in the FCT.
But by November 2024, you have up to 8,000 cases. Talk to us about how many of them did you actually resolve? Were you close to resolving even half of that?
Yeah.
Because
this 8,000
shouldn't just be about engaging and talking.
Yes.
Solutions will matter.
This 8,000 is coming before my arrival.
Okay.
And before my arrival and up to now, we have trashed not less than about 4,000. Yes, not less than about 4,000 before my arrival. What we do, and why people don't understand that we're trashing these cases, except it affects you, you won't know. You understand? We submit our data through the coordinating body, which is the headquarters, and of course, they now push down to the National Assembly. But when we have opportunities like this, we try to make people understand how we resolve them.
Aside land and structures, and what are other complaints that are common in FCT?
Yeah, in the FCT, we have issues of retirees. Civil servants that have worked for 35 years, retired, their pension are not paid, their entitlement are not paid. And we're handling them, and we're getting some resolved. Very difficult to get these issues resolved. But to God be the glory, the wisdom God has granted us at the Public Complaint Commission. We're resolving them gradually. And people are happy with the way and manner we're handling them. Even the respondents are happy, because we don't threaten you. We don't threaten you for anything. We speak with you in a way that there will be peace between you and your brother that are involved in this case. And that is the paramount thing the National Assembly has made us to understand, that if there is any means we could go to ensure that there is no complaint, let's even do it. But you know, dealing with human beings, there must be complaints. Is it issue of promotion? We have seen where people are due for promotion, but one reason or the other, they are not promoted. Some will write these exams, one way or the other, they are not promoted. Some will pass their exam, yet they are not promoted. We're handling all these things. If you come to private sector, somebody has bought a car on hire purchase, payback is a problem. We're handling them.
Are you well funded?
We're not well funded. I don't want to go into that area.
How do you deal with all these cases?
Yes, we're dealing with them because we're applying God-given wisdom. We're applying God-given wisdom. So that part of funding is something that has actually kind of...
Are you pushing at the National Assembly?
We're pushing, but you know what it is. So certain areas I don't go into is so deep, but the fact is that Public Complaint Commission generally is not adequately funded. Probably because the sisters that have come around take what would have been given to public complaints. The ICPC, the FCC, and others. Probably they are taking what would have been given to Public Complaint Commission. So my vision is to my vision is to create this awareness.
More funding for public complaints.
Yes, my problem here and my vision here is to see that Nigerians in the Federal Capital Territory know that they have a voice there are measures, there are means of complaining
Okay.
without wasting anything that we do with your life.
All right.
Yes.
Tender it to the Public Complaint Commission, headed by Musa Dikko, the Federal Commissioner. Thank you so much for being on the spot.
Thank you for giving us this time.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure the viewer is also informed about the role of the Public Complaint Commission. Thank you to the viewer for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.